I hope you're having an amazing day. My name is Colin. In this video, we're going to have a look at the Launchpad market of today. Bitcoin is holding just above $40,500, Ethereum at $3,000, and the Fear and Greed Index is pointing today to extreme fear. So from extreme fear last month to fear last week to fear yesterday, back into extreme fear today. Basically, we did reach, obviously, 2 weeks ago into the neutral greed stage, but just Bitcoin wasn't able to keep that 46, 47K level and has now been reduced. Meaning that the launchpads, obviously in line with Bitcoin, are suffering as well. We know this. If you are keeping up to date every single day, I cover all of these launchpads, and in every problem is an opportunity because the launchpads are cheap and in the bull run they are expensive. In the last 24 hours, the biggest gainer, Launch Pool, with 15%, but also Comunitas making a 15% gain, right now 13.5%, with their launches coming up, because they have several launches. If you watch my video from yesterday, I think they have like 5 or 6 launches lined up in the next 2 weeks. Gammy making some gains, Swap and AnyPad as well, a 10% pump. However, if we look at the biggest losers, Starter keeps losing value, KCCPad, GameZone, TronPad, PulsePad, ETHPad, all the Bluezilla pads basically in a linear downward trend. FLUX, NFT Launch, these are all from Bluezilla, right? So they're definitely struggling. Perhaps some strategy involved here as well. I have literally no clue, because on a 7-day weekly average, the biggest losers are up to 53%. That's half of the value gone. But also bigger pads like the Avalanche Launchpad losing 25% of its value. And that's a $44 million self-proclaimed market cap, right? But that's huge. And then losing 25% of your value. Basically, they saw in the last week more than $15 million disappear off their valuation. That's crazy if you think about it. However, there were also some gainers. Swap gaining 75%, so $750,000 on their valuation. Impossible Finance with a 27% gain, basically gaining millions in terms of their valuation, but obviously as steady, paid, making some gains. Daisy doing really well, and Downmaker as well. So these have been steady for the last couple of weeks, and now Launch Pool is there as well. Other than that, from our other launchpads who are not on this list, I think Unix is down today. They still haven't launched the project. Yep, and we can definitely see an unlock, right? You see the volume basically 5x's from 110,000 to 600,000. Basically some sell pressure right there, pushing down the price, which makes sense. Firestarter still to announce their new tiers, basically still in a linear downward trend, but the last 7 days at least there are some pumps, there is some movement. They have launched, or at least opened, the first come first serve for the Lumnia crown, right? So that's definitely a hyped project, and Firestarter has some opportunity there. Today was also the launch of Hypercent on Kadena, one of the first launchpads on Kadena to arrive, and they got listed on Kaddex, the Kadena DEX. However, I wanted to record this live. It was such a technical nightmare that it took me 1 hour to set up the wallet, get everything connected, swap the coins, that initially I didn't want to take profit, but as soon as I noticed that nobody was able to sell, and I got through by basically being persistent, I got a 3x. So I got my entire initial back with some profit, and I only got 33% TGE. So we have 2 more vestings left, and I'm looking to buy back my Hypercent tokens I sold basically tomorrow, when everybody basically had the opportunity to sell. Because if I look in the Hypercent chat right now, people are still not able to sell their tokens, which leaves the opportunity for me to buy them later at a cheaper price once everybody has dumped. So right now it's one Kadena for about 3.9 hype. And this number keeps going up. So when the number goes up, it means the value goes down. It's about 0.25 Kadena per hype. We have an overview of the KDA hype relative. So he's actually putting the times right now. This was shared in the Hypercent community by just a guy that is keeping track of it. And I do appreciate that because it's very nice to see. So it went live at 1 o'clock for 0.26. So the more KDA per hype, right? The more KDA per hype you get, the higher the price. Lower. So it definitely reached a good point here, 0.33. But you can basically see now more people are able to sell, and it's basically going down. 0.25 is the lowest it has been, and that's also where it's at right now. Obviously, if somebody would buy 10K worth of tokens, the price moves up quite quickly. But this is obviously a smaller pad. There's not that much liquidity on it either. It's basically a new exchange. DEX. Right? It's a decentralized exchange. One thing that I do notice is that I was quite bullish on the Kadena ecosystem. Kaddex is new, the X wallet is new, the swapping is new, and you can definitely see that it's new because on PancakeSwap, something that takes 10 seconds took 1 hour to be completed on Kaddex, with the server not responding, the wallet not responding, the blockchain being congested, it taking 20 minutes for a transaction to be completed. Definitely not a good first experience on Kadena, but you also have to take into consideration this is a blockchain where you are extremely early. In the bull run, it did reach like $30 from like a 40, so it did basically a crazy run in like a 1 month, 2 month period. And it's still early on Kadena, right? They're still building. It's already a top 100 coin, but I do see a lot of potential here. So obviously for that launch, to get my initial back, was very bullish, right? 2 more to go, and probably I'll buy back in to get my tokens back. But then I will be left with hopefully like 100 Kadena, which means I made like a $500 profit. Even small profits are good profits in my opinion. And you can see from the chart that the price isn't really moving that crazy, right? There are definitely some people buying as well as there are selling. But the lowest it has gone is not 25, it's actually 21. So there were some purchases right here basically to drive the price back up to 0.30. But there's no like 1000x or whatever, basically because there's not enough demand, but also the system is not really working as efficient to bring it to that point. So that's basically the Hypercent launch on Kaddex to conclude. In terms of things that are happening on the launch pads, yes, there are a lot of things moving. There are a lot of moving parts. And there are a lot of opportunities coming up, right? Because although the market is still a little bearish, we do see the launch pads now focusing on smaller launches, 50K raise, 100K raise. Obviously, because now I bought into more launch pads, I can also cover more content for all these launch pads. So overall, I would say I'm quite bullish on all the things that are happening, not per se that you can make, in the bull run, we did like $5,000, $10,000 on TGE, right? Like huge amounts of profits. Right now, you should be happy if you get your initial back, if you like recoup up until your initial, maybe 70%, 80%, that's definitely something you should be happy about in the current stage of the market. Of course, don't forget your Track Digits account if you don't already have one. This is the software free to use through the link in the description to check and track your IDO vesting. While in beta, you can use it for free. All you need to do is leave some feedback about your experience and we can improve the platform. It integrates with Google Calendar and basically lets you know when you can claim your tokens. Definitely extremely helpful if you are working in a Google Sheet. Fuck that. This is way more efficient and a huge time saver. So I definitely recommend you to check it out. Overall, we will see the launchpads basically have an increased performance as we did basically less than 2 weeks ago when Bitcoin wasn't at 47K. All the launchpads were pumping, the gaming crypto was pumping, but it unfortunately wasn't able to maintain that price, right? And because it wasn't able to maintain that price, the launchpads are going down again, but that's natural behavior. If we look at the pattern of Bitcoin, there's definitely some opportunity for some breakouts soon, but we never know how things are going to go. I'm not a technical analyst. I don't know how the fuck that all works. What I do know is that I'm looking to make small, consistent profits on launchpads where I know it's still possible, and I will document everything for you on this YouTube channel twice a day. So make sure to stay tuned. This is everything for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.